last 4 weeks, I think he's played as good as any quarterback in the National Football League.
Was it just a matter of him getting into a rhythm with personnel and trying to figure everything out? What kind of sparked that change in him?
I mean, I don't know exactly what sparked it, but I mean, he's been an elite quarterback all along. I think we're clicking on all cylinders now. His chemistry with Keenan has helped, but I think we're executing better. And the games are called more balanced, and I just see better execution.
You feel like the kicking game is stabilized, and if so, how important can that be moving forward?
Yeah, I think the kicking game has developed. I think a lot of the young guys has gotten more reps, and I think they're getting better. I think the kicking game has been kind of overshadowed by the kicking situation. The coverage has been getting better every single week, seems like.
How about in terms of field goals?
Well, last week was pretty good. I think it was 100%. So.
Coach, last time you guys played Kansas City, you guys were a different team. How have you changed from that last meeting until this meeting?
We've changed in a lot of ways. We're taking the ball away more. We're taking care of the football better, and like we just talked about on special teams, the coverage units have gotten better against these dangerous returners that we're going to see in Kansas City. That's going to be critical in this ball game. But we're just a better football team now.
Are you at where you really expected to be at, or is there any sort of surprise to the notion that you're controlling your own situation?
No surprises at all. Yeah, I mean we expected to be here in December, playing meaningful football, and we earned the right to be in this game, and we're looking forward to it.
Are you at all surprised how the Chiefs had tumbled? Because as you were digging yourself out, they were 5-0 and they were falling apart.
That's what I heard. I've been so busy with this team, I have no idea what the Chiefs have been up to, but I'm glad they came back to us, and this is going to be a big game for us here on Saturday.
Antonio Gates has been getting fewer snaps, especially over this past month. Is that just a matter of Hunter playing really well, or is that getting later in the season? He's an older tight end.
I think a little bit of both. We have to monitor Antonio. We know that in certain situations he's a weapon. He's a Hall of Famer for a reason. But Hunter Henry's been getting more involved too. So it's a combination of both probably.
What are those situations where he is still a weapon?
Love him in the red zone, third downs. I mean, he has a knack for getting open and making plays when we need him to.
What was the thought of promoting Isaac, given that there's a lot of depth at that position?
I really would like to get a look at Isaac at some point because of what I'm seeing in practice. And, he's working his tail off. He's gotten so much better. I don't know if he'll make it to an active game this year, but if something should happen, he's in position to step up.
The defense has been playing so well. Do you see many areas for growth or improvement still there?
Oh, absolutely. You never got it. You're always trying to improve. You're always trying to get better.
Andre was involved in coverage units for you guys. Who slides over to help?
Cal Emanuel will step up in Andre's place. And, Cal being a defensive player and a linebacker, it should be a natural move for him. But Andre was doing so well in the coverage game. We're going to miss him a lot.
What's it like to be playing in Week 15, just a monumental game as opposed to your ordinary Week 2, 3, 4, 5 game? Now this is a really big one.
Well, it's exciting. It's what you work for. When you're in the off season, you run those 300s and 200s and 150s in the heat of the summer. I mean, this is what you envision.
What do you?
This team's been through a lot of adversity this season. 0-4 in new city, all Pass A stuff, on a roll now. But that adversity has somehow made this locker room really special, where everyone is playing together. Is that also a test to what's going on the field?
I would say it's pretty accurate. I think anytime you go through adversity like we went through, it can definitely galvanize a unit and make them closer. And I've seen that happen.
Anthony, when you looked at kind of the offense, and you saw Phillip, and you saw King working his way back and stuff, early in the season, you kind of wonder what's taking so long. Why is this not moving?
I wish I knew. We would have started it a whole lot sooner, But we're just executing better. We're extending plays. We're playing better on third down. We weren't playing very well on third down early in the year. A drop here, a tip ball here, a bad throw here, and now we've been around each other longer, and I believe we're in better down and distance situations now, and we're just executing better. We just stayed focused, stayed the course, and it's paying off.
Sort of expanding on what DJ asked about the field goal unit, how did Travis Coons get on your guys' radar, and
how has that worked? I mean, obviously, it's worked out pretty well so far, but
You know, that would be a better question for my general manager, Tom Telesco, because, you know, he brought – I never heard of Travis, and he brought Travis in here, and Travis impressed everybody in the workout. His confidence and his approach, his technique. And at the end of that workout, I think we had 5 guys in there who said, we want Travis.
How much attention do you pay to the first meeting with the Chiefs, even though that was many, many, many weeks ago?
Yeah, you look at the film, and teams do change because that was so early in the season. But, you know, they're still pretty much doing what they were doing, and they're just back executing at a high level. They beat a pretty good team last week, pretty good. So they're clicking on all cylinders right now.
They've got weapons, obviously. Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, Kareem Hunt. Which of those guys do you think is the most challenging for a defense?
You know, they're all so good in space. I mean, they're all challenging, they're all good. I mean, Tyreek Hill, he may be the most explosive, but you can't discount anybody, you know, in that offense. They all can make plays.
You said at the beginning of the season you thought Hunter could be the number 1 tight end in this offense. What has he shown you in these last 3 weeks or so that has really kind of galvanized that?
You know, I've seen it all along. You know, training camp. You know, Hunter showed that he could be the number 1 tight end in this offense, and early in the season. And you know, I never thought that he was the number 2. You know, coming in here, him and Antonio sharing time, but Hunter was always on the field. We always treated Hunter like a starter.
Has he kind of clicked even more lately? I know he's been targeted quite a bit these last few weeks.
No, you know, I just think it's easier to target your tight end. You know, when you're making the defense defend the run more.
Coach, you guys are obviously going to the West Coast after you guys play Kansas City. Have you guys had any talks about maybe staying out in the East Coast instead of coming back and then going back to New York?
No, we're going to come home after Kansas City. We have the extra day and everything.
How did you think Revis played last week?
You know, he's working his way back in. For a guy that just stepped in, you know, midway through the season, he plays fine. You know,
He's obviously someone you're really familiar with.
very familiar with, very intelligent football player. You know, he was Revis Island for a reason. You know, he take chances, calculated risk, and normally it pays off for him.
How dangerous is Marcus Peters, and what do you expect of the rivalry with Allen?
You know, Peters is a good corner, no doubt, and I'm sure they'll be chirping back and forth. But it'll be, you know, hopefully on our side it'll be friendly and competitive, and it'll be good competition.
What have you seen out of Alex Smith this year? He's had some peaks and valleys, but what is the biggest threat about him to the defense?
You know, he can throw the ball down the field as good as any quarterback in the league. He runs their offense well, but right now he's taking off and using his legs. And I think he went for 70 yards against the Jets a couple weeks ago. Last week he broke out a couple times. You know, he can really hurt you with his mobility.
Coach, this is actually the first game I think playing the season with the temperature should be that cold. Does that impact preparation or anything? Or is that overstated?
No. You know, I think players play longer, and they don't get as tired when it's cooler. So I don't see the temperature being an issue at all.
A lot of people are building this game into the build-up as the winner is the division champion, but that's not the case. Is that a message you've got to get across?
Absolutely. You know, we have to. Every week is like a playoff game for us. You know, we have to win out. Even if we fortunate enough to win this game on Saturday, you know, we still need to keep winning just to keep our spot. So, you know, it's similar situation for us that we've been in all along.
What worries you about going into that stadium, that environment, in a primetime game, Saturday night, a little different schedule?
Well, the noise. You know, I've been in that stadium when it's really, really loud, and I've been in that stadium when it's really, really quiet. So hopefully we can do the latter, but the noise can definitely affect the offense.
Is there anyone on the injury report you're concerned about in terms of game availability?
No, we have some guys that are day by day, but we feel good about them being ready on Sunday. Okay? All right.
The last time you guys faced Kansas City to now, what has been the biggest difference from the team?
Well, we've won a heck of a lot more games. offensively we hadn't turned it over near as much, and defensively they've been getting a ton of takeaways. They've really been the most consistent side all year long, and we just played better together. But it's in a lot of ways, obviously, as far as the personnel on both sides, it's going to be pretty much the same matchup. So it's going to be at their place, which is a heck of a challenge, but looking forward to it.
We're attempting to frame this game as for the division championship, but it's not. Is that a message that needs to be?
Well, it is, but it isn't. I mean, it certainly gives you a heck of a lot better chance of winning it if you win this game. But if you win this game, it's not over yet. But it's a big game. I mean, I think it's important to know what's at stake, which I think we all do. But at the same time, to just keep the same approach we've had that's been working. There seems to be a lot of matchups like this across the league this weekend. Division games that have a lot riding on it, which is what you ask for when you're working in May and April and through training camp. You go shoot in Kansas City with tied up in the division mid-December. That's what you're working for, that opportunity, and we have it on Saturday.
Do you think it helps that you guys have been pretty much playing elimination games basically since week 5?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny though. While we have been, I don't think it hasn't caused us to be tight or go, oh, let's not mess up. We've been playing very free, but at the same time very focused, if that makes any sense. But I think it's we know we've been in a position where we had no more wiggle room, and we're still there, obviously. And this is a huge game, that goes without saying, for both teams. And again, while it doesn't decide anything final, it gives you a heck of a better chance coming out on top.
You've accomplished a lot in your career. MVP, is that something you're interested in? Is that something you think about at all?
I really don't, honestly. I don't. Again, I think again, individual recognitions and things come when teams have success, and so if that comes with us having a lot of success, then certainly you'd be grateful. But we got a good thing going, and hopefully we can keep it going.
Anthony talked the day he was hired about eliminating turnovers, something that plagued you guys last year. What's different for you personally? Have you approached things differently? Have you just not pressed as much?
I really haven't. I mean, I think the numbers don't lie. Obviously, I had a lot more turnovers the last few years than I was used to. But I mean, I think for the most part over my career, I've been above average in taking care of the football. Last couple of years, not as good, but as I've always said, they all come out of my hand, and I'm responsible for all of them. But there's a story to all of them too. But this year, no, because early, obviously that's been an emphasis. It's always been an emphasis for me. But you mentioned, and Aylin said that. I mean, we led the league in turnovers, and you're not going to win many games. But I didn't. We went into the year with that emphasis, and really, other than the Kansas City game, we weren't terrible early in the year. We weren't great, but we weren't terrible. And then we've been really good here the last 4 games when we've been at our best. So the one thing from when I've all growing up, my dad coaching to my first year in the NFL with Marty Schottenheimer here, he would say that's the biggest correlation to winning. I've heard that my whole life is turning the ball over and getting turnovers. And I think it's pretty clear that holds up. It's always held up, but the last 4 weeks we hadn't turned it over, and we've gotten a bunch of them, and we've won 4 in a row.
Phil, you mentioned the first Kansas City game, do this 3 picks. Does that stick with you a little bit? Do you think about that, or are you?
Well, I mean, throughout the course of that game, you look up, watching back through that game this week, and it's 17-10, 4.5 minutes left, and we got the ball. And we have a chance to go tie it up, even with the really one of the worst games I've had in a while. So, no, I don't think about it. I mean, I think, again, and like I've always said, thankfully I haven't had many 3 interception games, but we've all had them. I don't know that you can find a guy that hadn't had them. Maybe there's a few out there, but not many. And you just keep going. You just keep going, and that's what we did throughout the course of that game. We still fell short, but you just keep going and keep playing, and that's really what we've done all year long. After the 0-4 start, you just keep going, keep believing, and keep playing.
What is it about Kansas City that you love about playing there?
Well, I mean, it's just a great place to play. To me, it's one of the few old school NFL atmospheres that are left, and so it's it's awesome. The fans are great. They're very knowledgeable. They know what's going on out there, and it's always a heck of a challenge. We've had a lot of games there come down to the wire. As of late, we haven't won very many of them, but it's always a heck of a game.
What's the most important factor for a visiting offense going into that atmosphere?
Well, I think it's managing the noise, being able to communicate, make sure we're all on the same page, whether it be changing a play with the protection, with the route combinations, any adjustments we're making, make sure we're on the same page. And then something always for me in those environments is not be aware of the clock. You got to be aware of the play clock. You want to make adjustments. They take a little bit longer when you got to communicate it a little different than you do when you're at home. So I think that's and not have those self-inflicted wounds. You get behind the chain, you have a 3rd and 6 and you false start, or you get something happen and you're 3rd and 11. It's a whole different animal when you're on the road. So I think managing those things gives you a chance. All those things are before the ball snapped, and then once the ball snapped, it's just about executing like always.
Early in the season, we talked a lot about the offense and words like rhythm and clicking, and it was kind of like abstract stuff. Are there concrete examples in your mind of like, we're doing this way better these last 4 weeks?
Well, I think we are. We're better on first, second down, and then I think the domino effect of that is we've been better on third down. I mean, we've been way better on third down. If you looked at the first 4 or 5 weeks and then look at these last 6 or 7, we've been way better on third down. And so then that domino effect is you get more first downs, and then you just have more opportunities. And then I just think we've and then we hadn't turned it over. I mean, those things right there. You're better on first down, you're better on third down, and you're not turning the ball over. We can be better in the red zone, but if you're doing those 3 things good, you're scoring points somewhat. Hopefully more 7s than 3s, and that's what we've done. And then our defense obviously has taken the ball over a double-digit number of times. So I think the combination of those things have allowed us to get leads in games and be in control. Now we all know how this can go. Shoot, we may be down 14-3 in this game. I don't know. Who knows? But we know how to handle those situations too, and we believe we'll find a way to win if that's the case. But certainly. The way we've been playing and being in control early in games has helped the whole thing come together.
Antonio has played, fewer snaps, especially over this past month. Has that been strange, just given the connection that you guys have always had, and also even when he's not playing, what kind of impact can he have on your offense? Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if strange. I mean, it's certainly a little different. I mean, I think. He's still having an impact. Obviously, last week he had a couple third down conversions. He still has the respect factor and the where's 85 factor when he's on the field, as he should. So I don't think you've seen the last of him as these next 3 weeks come, and hopefully more. He and Hunter out there together. We've used our 3 tight end package quite a bit. And he's been great. He's been great with Hunter and those guys, and really the receivers as well. He's always ran routes like a receiver, and so he's still the impact he brings. I do believe he will impact in between the lines as we continue, but I think it can't go under appreciated or estimated what he brings to just in the locker room and on the practice field.
You've mentioned a couple of times now, big game. What's the feeling like as you prepare to get ready to play a big game compared to week 3?
I mean, in a lot of ways, it's the same. I think if you're preparing different now, then we've been cheating. We've been cheating our teammates the last 12 weeks, so 13 weeks. So I don't think it should be any different as far as the week. Is it a little different pulling in on Saturday night? It's a little bit. There's a little more there, I think. The energy will be there. We won't have been in this environment since week 1, in my opinion, at Denver. That environment, New England, it certainly was that, but it was a regular Sunday game, obviously not in the division. But week 1 at Denver was 8 at night. Everybody's fired up for the first game of the year. I think it's going to be similar to that. I mean, this is the games you dream about playing in to have a chance to stay alive in the postseason. As you made known that we all know, this doesn't win the division, but certainly helps give you a chance.
Bill, people like to talk about December football and cold weather as a quarterback. How does cold weather affect you? Cold doesn't bother me. Cold and wet isn't great, but cold is just fine. So
I think you deal with whatever elements you have, but the cold is something that you kind of grew up playing in the backyard when it got cold. It got cold enough in Alabama, not cold as some of these places get, but cold enough. It doesn't seem like it's going to even be a factor this weekend, but you never know. I've been in Kansas City before. We warmed up. It was 60 degrees. We came back out after warm-ups, and it was in the 40s, and the wind was blowing. So who knows what it'll be like on Saturday, but I don't think it'll be an issue.
Have you been practicing with two gloves? Sometimes when it's cold, you like to practice with two gloves?
Yeah.
Or are you just going one glove?
I kind of see. I have thrown the ball around this week already with the glove on the right hand. It depends what the temperature is. I kind of somewhere in the 30s is kind of the cutoff. Kind of see how you feel when you get out there, but hopefully, I'll be good either way.
Is there a difference when throwing with the glove and throwing without the glove?
I mean, I don't know if there's a little better grip with the glove. But I don't know if there's a difference, but I certainly didn't want to go out there on Saturday and go, oh, I think I'll try it out. So I just wanted to get back in the feel of it just in case I did want to go that route.
It does seem like you guys have been playing loose, fun, just kind of backyard ball a little bit, even with a lot on the line. How helpful has that been?
It's been good. I think Coach Lynn really, I think it starts with him. I don't mean loose and loosey-goosey in a way that's in any way not focused, but I think his demeanor is very serious, as y'all know, but very real. And I think he knows what it's like to be a player. That's one thing I've always thought is kind of like one of those a football analyst or whatever that was a former player. I always thought there's a challenge there of don't forget what it was like when you played. Sometimes you can lose touch of, did you remember what it was like to make that throw or have to make that catch or that block? So I think he's one of those coaches that hasn't forgot what it was like to be a player too, whether he's setting up a schedule, whether he's doing the practice deal, whether just how the things have flown, how things have flowed. So I think that too comes out in his presence and the way he presents things to us, and I think that's allowed us to feel loose, but also be very focused, and because that's when you're at your best. So I think that's the key for us this week is that is acknowledging it's a big game. There's a lot on the line. This in Arrowhead Stadium at night, and there's all those things that are going to make it. You take that deep breath, and you come out of the tunnel. It's just going to feel different, but at the same time, play the same game we've been playing. We don't have to do more. Just do what we've been doing.
When you were 0-4, the Chiefs were 5-0. As you got your season in order, they went into a free fall. Were you surprised to see that happen to that team?
Yeah, I think I remember having the thought at 0-4. Hey, let's not worry about the division. Let's just try to claw back to see if we can get in the mix in December. Just because you didn't see it coming. They went to New England and won. They beat the Eagles at home. They were just rolling, and so you didn't know that. I didn't know that we could get to this point as far as in the division race. But at the same time, you watched the game last week. It's the same Chiefs team. That's what I've always said. We're the same team that was 0-4. We're the same group. We just have found a way to win those games. This Chiefs team that had lost 4 or 5 in a row, they were the same team that went to New England and won, that beat Philly at home. So it's the same guys. So I think it's key, and I don't think there's going to be any problem making sure we know that. We all know that. We watch the tape. We see who's out there playing. It's the same roster. It's a really good Chiefs team. And I know they're well coached and how that thing's run over there, and they're going to be ready to roll, and the respect we have for them is the same as if we were playing them if they were 10-2. We know what challenges ahead.
How different did their defense look without Marcus Peters this last week, and then how does he compare to other cornerbacks that you've seen a lot?
Well, he's a good corner. They played really well. It was 26-0 at one point in the fourth quarter, so they did a nice job. Those guys did a nice job, but he's a really good corner. He's a dangerous corner. You categorize different corners in different ways, and some are just so textbook, and they play their assignment, and it's tough to get completions on them. And then there's others, which I put him in this category, that are dangerous. You're just not sure what he's going to do. He may give you a 10-yard completion, and then he may intercept the next one for a touchdown. And that's what makes him so hard to predict. He's very unpredictable. He's very smart in the way he reads things. So he's certainly you have to be careful with. But, they've had a lot of different guys in the lineup at corner, 23, 24, 39, 20, 21 in there covering tight ends, 38 and 49 back there at safety. It's a good secondary. And, again, this is a scheme that they're very familiar with. They've played a lot together, and they've played in the same system for a while now. So they play it well.
Thank you, guys.
For them early in the season. I think he's still doing pretty good, so that's probably going to be our main focus, is stopping the run in the big plays.
For you personally, at this time last year, he had one deal after the bowl game, or this is a longer schedule than college. As a rookie, how do you handle it? And is it a big difference?
Yes, it's definitely a big difference. It all comes down to taking care of your body for one. Like you say, this is bowl game season now for college guys, and I'm only in week 13. Week 15, so I don't even know. So, yeah, it's definitely a long season, but, it's definitely going to come down to me just taking care of my body and playing smart out there on the field.
With things that are on the line with this game on Saturday, how exciting is it, though, for you to go out there in such a hostile environment, but play in prime time, too?
Just not get overwhelmed by the environment. That's one thing, stay focused to the mission, go in there with the team and just play together and stick together. Yeah, they was telling me, this is going to be, one of the biggest games. This is like playing Denver in a playoff game. So they told me the atmosphere. It's a night game. So like I said, just don't get overwhelmed, stay focused, and be ready for the game.
You've got a lot of low lately, I think, back-to-back nominations for Rookie of the Week. Do you pay attention to that? Do you tune it out? What's your philosophy?
Not really. I don't like to listen to, I call it the outside noise. So that's something that I would think that would distract me if I think about anything like that. So I just want to stay focused to what I'm doing and just keep getting better each and every week.
The Chiefs were so good early in the season, and Philip was just saying how the start that you got off to, you never in your dreams were thinking about catching them, and now you have. Are you surprised you're in this position?
No, not at all. I believe, the way that we started early kind of gave us a hint, to show do we really want our season to go like this, or are we going to make a change and get better? So I believe once we got that first win out in New Jersey against the Giants, we kind of felt how winning feel, and we liked that feeling. So we wanted to just keep that streak going and just, get better each and every week. And I think that's what happened for us this year, is that we progressed each and every week and got better.
Things can change quickly in the NFL. Were you surprised to see the Chiefs come back to you and go on that losing skid?
Once we lost to them in week 3, I felt like, we was going to see them again. So, and I think we kind of knew it's going to be a big game between us and them just because it's a divisional game. But at the same time, it's going to be at their home this time, and they got the advantage. So we just, go in there, do what we've been doing for the past weeks now, and just stay focused.
Talk about the togetherness, the cohesiveness the defensive unit has going right now. You guys are playing with what looks like to be a lot of fun and a lot of spirit. Just talk to that.
We talked about one specific thing in one of our team meetings last week, and it was about the love behind our organization. And we talked about how everybody is so invested into the program and how our defense is playing together so well. And one thing, you can see out there on the field, that we play with a passion, we play with love and togetherness, and we celebrate with each other. That's just something that we do now that shows, that you want to congratulate and celebrate everybody's success. So, we just want to keep that going and let everybody know that, we're here for you, and we're going to keep this going and keep the momentum.
When I talked to Melvin Ingram this week, he called your defense ASAP, any squad, any place. How confident are you in your defense?
You said he called it what?
ASAP, as soon as possible, but in your case, any squad, any place.
Okay.
Are you confident in the defense?
Definitely. I feel like, we have a very confident defense at this point. We started off pretty good, but now it's we just getting started. This is a kick in for the rest of the season. We want to keep that momentum going with our defense, and I feel like, our defense is going to play at that momentum and at that level at any place, anytime.
Your defense has had a ton of touchdowns this season. What does it do for a team when the defense scores points?
I feel like, when the defense goes, our offense goes, and that's how the momentum builds. So we want to, do as much as we can for our offense, get him a good field position, because we know Phil, Phil is a great quarterback, and he's going to do what he can, to get the offense somewhere where in the end zone, and that's what's going to help us out there on the field, knowing that if we keep giving him the ball, and he's going to get them in the end zone. So that's our main focus, is just get the ball in our quarterback's hand and let him take care of the rest.
Your birthday's tomorrow, your 27th birthday. Did you ever foresee yourself being where you are right now, standing in the podium with an NFL team, and being nominated as you have the last couple of weeks?
Just as that little kid, you always had that one dream and that one admiration to make it to this level. Where I'm from in Detroit, Michigan, not a lot of people make it out of Detroit in sports. We had Antonio Gates, a guy that went to go play basketball and then walked on for football. So that's something, that a lot of us, grew up seeing, and just giving that opportunity out there that shows like anybody can do it as long as you stay focused and keep your mind to it, So, I had a dream of it, but, now to see that is real, it's amazing and blessing.
Does it feel like there's maturity to this locker room where, like, winning wasn't the goal? Like, you always knew you were going to get past, or not always knew, but there was a bigger goal. Winning wasn't enough in that sense. You want to get to the playoffs, you want to get more. Was there that kind of maturity in that locker room for that?
Just from the start, we set a goal, and our first goal was to win the AFC West, and from there we want to win championships. So, that's always a goal in the back of our head. So once our season took off as 0-4, we kind of stuck to that first goal was win the AFC West, because our whole season was still ahead of us, and we never looked back. We just kept going forward. So that's where I think the maturity level kind of kicked in for our team, and we just always accountable for ourselves and being responsible as well.